Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video we are going to understand the Leetcode problem number 2943. It's a maximum area of square hole in grid, right? This is a square hole in a grid that we will understand in this video. Okay, so let's try to understand how we will find the square hole maximum area. Okay, very first, what are the things we have given in this problem you should understand. The question is saying that you have given a grid, as you can see here, and its size is n cross m. That is why it is given n and m. N is given how many? Is 2, and m is given is 1, right? Now it is saying that some of horizontal bars are removed, right? As you can see, the horizontal bars are removed. Okay, so this is called horizontal. Okay, so and this is called vertical. Okay, so some of the horizontal bar are deleted, or you can say removed, and some verticals are also removed. If this is removed and this is removed, the left is, wow, it will look like this, right? As we can see here. Now these removals create a hole in the grid and it look like a square. Can we say that? So our task is to find the largest square hole in that can be formed, and it return its area, you can say. Okay, so this is our area. If we'll know the one of the sides, right, we know that the area of the square, right? So what is the key insight in this problem is a square hole is possible only if consecutive horizontal bars, that is called, and consecutive vertical bars are removed. Like let's suppose the very first consecutive is this one, and for this consecutive is this one, right? So this has been removed. This is what we should understand. We can remove anyone. Let's suppose if we'll remove this one and we are not removing this one, right? So it will go like this and it will come, right? And there can be many bars also there that can be removed, horizontal or vertical, we can say that. Okay, that we will talk about later, but as a simple thing you should understand that what we have given is n and m horizontal bars and vertical bars we have given. So some of the horizontal bars and some of the vertical bars will be removed, and the removal will create the square like this. And only thing we have to understand is that we have to find the largest square hole that can be formed by removing these horizontal and vertical bars. Understand? And one more thing we have to understand, that only if the consecutive horizontal bars and consecutive vertical bars are removed. Means if there is multiple horizontal bars, so if we'll remove the consecutive, then only it will form a square, right? If it is vertical, let's suppose if we'll remove the consecutive one, then only it can form a square. Let's suppose if we'll not remove this one, then how will it create a proper square, right? This is what we should understand. You can pause this video and you can go through the statement, because I have already gone through, so you can understand, and it will help you. Okay, now can we say what does square hole means, right? Or really means, we can say. Think for 1 second. Okay, think for 1 second. What does square hole means, right? Think of a grid, for example this one. So the bar are divided in rows and column. So these are called what? Sorry, these are called rows, right? And these are called columns. Can we say that? So if we will create the columns and the rows, right? So removing bars allows cells to merge, right? If we'll remove this, so these two cells will be merged into one. And it can form like a square. If both will remove, then it can form the square, otherwise it can be merged, right? So a square hole needs, we can say, consecutive horizontal gaps. How many? K consecutive horizontal gaps and K consecutive vertical gaps. Can we say that? The very first, if we have given this grid, right? So bars divides the rows and the columns, right? So if we are removing the bars, that allows cells to merge, right? Because if it is like this, right? So if either we'll remove the rows and column, any of this, let's suppose very first we'll remove this one. So these two cells will be merged, right? If we'll remove this one, so all these four cells will be merged, right? Means very first, to make a square, hole in the grid, right? What do you need? You need a K consecutive horizontal and vertical. Means K consecutive horizontal and K consecutive vertical gaps, right? So can we say that, give me one second, can we say that the side length of square equal to what? We have to take the minimum between horizontal gap and vertical gap, correct? Let's suppose if this is a grid we have, so in this case, let's suppose like think like this, okay? So there is three vertical lines and one is horizontal line, okay? Can we say that there's three is horizontal, one is vertical, okay? Now think like this, if I will remove this one, right? One means the horizontal gap is 1, and if I will remove two vertical gaps, means vertical is 2, for horizontal is 2 and vertical is 1, like that we can say simply. So this will become a rectangle, not the square. So what we will assume that we need to delete only one and we'll keep this here. It means if I want to find the side of the square, right, it should be look like how? Tell. It should be like this. This is a square. But if we will take from here, let me show you. If you will take from here to here, it will form what? A rectangle. That is why we have to take the side of the square. So the both should be same. So if it will come minimum, means what is the minimum here? Minimum is 1 and 2. The minimum is 1. Then we will count only this thing is our square, right? And then we can find the area, right? How will we find the area? We know that, okay, area is 1 square, means the side square, right? So we'll do what we will do, 1 plus the 1, because 1 is a side of the length, and we'll take 1, then we'll do square. This will be our answer, right? Make sure that the side length and plus 1 we will do, and we'll find the area, okay? This is what we have to do, guys. One of the example we have is, now let's talk about this one, right? Very first, let's take a very simple example, right? Let's suppose I'll create n equal to 6 and m equal to 6. So there is two horizontal bar. Let's suppose is one horizontal bar, that is we'll take 2 and 3, and there will be vertical bars, and we can take what, 2, 3 and 4, right? So these two things we will take. Okay, very first we should, in the very first step, what we should do is we'll do sort the bar. Okay, what are the things we have to remove? Very first, horizontal bar that we are going to remove, right? Horizontal bar that we are going to remove is 2, 3, and the vertical bar that we are going to remove is 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so if you find the horizontal way, it means, let's suppose there is a horizontal bar. Let's suppose, give me one second. Let's suppose we have the horizontal view, let's suppose. Okay, so horizontal view, if you say, okay, what is the horizontal bar here, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we say like this? I'll just representing only one. What are the removes is, this one is removed and this one is removed. What is left is 1 and 1, 4 and 5 is left. So bar 2 and 3 are consecutive, right? So what is the total gap is here? So we'll say, okay, from here to here we have taken the gap, and this is gap is 2, right? The horizontal gap length is 2. Similarly, for the vertical we have 2, 3 and 4. So let's suppose we'll say, okay, 1, 2, 3. We can take here itself, right? So we can say, okay, we'll remove this 2, 3 and 4. What is the gap is there? Total consecutive gap, these are consecutive. Okay, so how many gaps is there? 3 is there, right? So what is the minimum? So this is the vertical and this is the minimum, right? So what we have to take, the minimum gap is 2, right? So we need to find like this, right? We know that which one is minimum. From here we are getting the 3 minimum horizontal gap, vertical gap, but horizontal gap we are getting is 2, right? So minimum is 2. It means if you want to find the largest square hole, what we need to do? We know that the area, if you want to find the minimum, we have to do +1, right? And then we have to multiply. So 3 into 3 is equal to 9. The 9 will be our answer. So like this we have to find, and we have to solve the problem, right? So let's go to the console and we'll do here. Okay guys, so okay, so very first, what are the things we have given that we should understand, right? So we need to find int max horizontal. What is our max horizontal? Max horizontal we can find from the, we'll create a function longest consecutive, and we'll pass the horizontal bars. What we have given is horizontal bars we have given. From the horizontal bars we have seen that we have to find the smallest and the longest one, right? So this will be the function that we will calculate, right? Similarly, we'll create another max vertical. Find the max vertical, we have to find the through the longest consecutive itself, and then we'll call this function. Once you are able to find, you just need to do what? You need to find the square side. A square side, right? Square side, and we can find what? Mass dot mean will pass these two things, we will pass. This is what I told you. Once you find the gaps, right, consecutive gaps, that will be our side, right? And you need to find through the minimum +1, I told you, right? Then we have to return this side square. To do the square, you have to just multiply itself. Let's talk about the consecutive function, longest consecutive, how we are going to find. So this is up in the helper methods. We can define private int the long consecutive, and will provide int array, and we'll find the array here. We'll write the array we are going to pass for the horizontal bar and vertical bar. If the array dot length equal to 0, it means we will return what? 0. There is no length, no gap is there. Then we should sort very first all the given removals. So we'll say, okay, arrays dot sort is a function. We can call the array and we'll do the gap sorting. Once the gap is sorted, we'll find the length, right? So we will track a max length. So we'll take a max length, and it should be start from the 1. Maximum length is 1, and there should be a current length we can take. So it will say current length we can take. Current length we can take. It should also 1. Once it is sorted, we will take the minimum gaps and maximum length and current length. Okay, we know we'll start from I equal to 1, and I should be less than array dot length, because this is array. We will say I plus plus here. Now what you need to do, you will first check if array at I, if array at I equal to the previous element, array at I minus 1, and if it is plus 1, means this is consecutive, correct? Previous value plus 1 means it is a consecutive. So we'll say, okay, increase the current length, because this is a consecutive value. If it is consecutive value, then we'll do else what I will do, we will track the current length is not changed, rewrite as 1. Whenever it is not consecutive, right, if you are not removing the consecutive, right, then it will not change. Make sure that you understand this line question, because it's very important to understand. If it, I'm saying, repeating again, if it is not consecutive, if you're not removing the consecutive, means you will come to the else condition. Understand? If not, please make sure that you will write in the comment box, guys, because if you're not understanding, that is not beneficial. Now think, you will use the max length, and here you will pass max dot max, right? Now because we have to track, right, so we'll take max length. If it is 1, if current length is 2, current length is equal to 2, it means max length will be updated to 2, from 1 to 2. Then finally we will return max length. This is our question is saying. Let me check the code. Very good. So all the test cases working. Okay, so running test cases are also working fine. All the test cases is also fine. So what you have understand here till now is, I told you that we have given the horizontal bars and vertical bars, and we also have given n and m. So we can ignore for now n and m. You just need the horizontal bars and the vertical bars, from where you will find the maximum gap in the horizontal and maximum gap in the vertical, right? Means that should be the consecutive, longest consecutive, right? Longest maximum consecutive here and maximum gaps here. Once you will find, you will need to find the minimum, so you can find the square. So square side you will find like this, and to find the consecutive, you know what you need to do. Very first you will sort the given gaps, and then over the iteration of the gaps array, you need to check if it is consecutive. Consecutive you will find from what? Previous plus 1. If it is equal to current, means you have to increase the current plus plus, and will make this current gap is increasing because it's a consecutive. If it is not consecutive, then you will come here and you will update the current length, and then you have to find the maximum gap, that is we will track through the max length, and that is why it's working fine. Right guys? So I hope you understand. So please write the time and space complexity of this program in the comment box. If you will provide the good one, I'll give the heart in the in that question in the time complexity, and other will understand. So the brute force approach, if you are going to apply here, so I will never recommend, because you need to try all the combination, guys, right? If you try all the combinations, that will go to the O of n square, and so the time complexity become very large, because we have the given inputs can be larger, right? You can go through the complexity and sorry, constraint. And if you will use hash set, right, you need to insert the bars into the set, and you have to expand the left and right. And the process that you don't need to do the sorting as we are doing here, right? But it is more complex, and same, there will be same math logic you can say in the under math, so it's not recommended, I'll say. So better, what you need to do, use the same as a consecutive check, which is a very, this process is very elegant. This is a, it's a kind of sliding window, we can say. And sliding window you can use, it's not a kind of, but I'll say the conceptual way is to use the sliding window and check the gap, right? But it's the sliding window will be consecutive, and you have to also do the same consecutive way, and you have to find the gaps, right? And but it still require the sorting, you can say. So that's all in the video, guys. Thank you for watching this video. In case if you are struggling with DSA preparation and Java preparation to become a full stack developer or backend developer, make sure that you will join our online classes. And for that, please reach out to me, and you can join our online classes. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.